Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I am Natasha Denman. Please ignore the admin name there of Donna Brown. And with me, I have one of my awesome, very first authors, Russell Scott. Hey, Russell.
Hey Natasha, how you going? Hey guys on the line.
Yes, fantastic. We've got lots of people coming through as we're introducing this call. This morning we have come together for the very first time because Russell has played an integral part in helping out at a lot of our retreats, and really he has taken through a person through the Ultimate 48-Hour Author System through to completion. So he will be playing an even bigger part as we progress through our upcoming retreats, the November one being the next one, and then obviously we do 4 of these a year. It's really, really exciting. So he'll be hosting the call today. I will be here to answer any questions and add some extra insights. So how we're going to roll, guys, is that we are going to take about 30 minutes to go through the awesome content that Russ has prepared. And then we'll open up the floor to some questions, and by all means ask him questions, ask me questions, just a bit of a background on when the system started, and then I'll introduce you to who he is. The system was developed about 2.5 years ago when I obviously had written myself a book over a weekend and realised, hey, I could do this for other people because that was already my 3rd book. To date, I have produced 5 books myself, 6 ones on the way, and we have had 85 authors successfully go through this process. So every single one of our authors, which is what we're very passionate about, is to get them from start to finish and to make sure that they are using their investment, getting huge returns on investment, and really it's about helping smaller numbers of people rather than the massive numbers, but those that will commit and go through to completion. Now, Russell was part of our very first retreat in October 2013, and he is the author of Free Time, Business Time Lord Secrets Revealed, and he is the Business Time Lord. He's the amazing systems processes guy, and this is why I have brought him into our little team of my husband, myself, and him, because he perfectly aligns with the different personalities that we are. So he has helped out and develop some of the templates for our system to make it a lot easier and to bring more structure around that. I think about 6 or 12 months ago, I think Russell fully quit his day job, and now he's building his amazing business, and all because of the book and the opportunities and the door it's opened. So I won't leave you, in anticipation any longer. I'm going to hand it over to Russ, and then certainly I'll jump in on and answer any questions throughout. Please use your questions box to ask any questions. I might moderate that while Russell is presenting. Let's give him a hand, a virtual hand, and let him co-author your way to business success.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Natasha. Great to see you guys on the line as well. I see a couple more people have just joined. Hey, Helen. Hey, Brad. Hope you can hear us loud and clear. Just pop in the chat box maybe, yes, loud and clear, you can hear me, and that way I'll know that your chat pane is working. Excellent. Thanks, Brad. Awesome. So, and if you did miss the first couple of minutes, we haven't covered any content yet, but if you did miss the first couple of minutes, the recording will be made available for this as well. I know some people are really curious about the program, but they couldn't actually make the call this morning, so it's all good. So I'm going to get straight into it. And so I guess the main reason that people are going to be on the call of what I'm guessing with the situation you're in is you know that you want to actually, you'd love to be able to write a book. You don't know how you could possibly do it. There's so many unknowns around that process. And also then you hear about, okay, well, people are doing this in a weekend. How could you possibly do that? So you've got a degree of curiosity. So by the end of this webinar, you'll have found out some more information about the program. You'll have found out a bit more information about me as well, and what makes me tick, and why it is that I've got myself and I'm so passionate about this program. You'll have learned a little bit about how it is actually possible for you to write your book in 48 hours. or less really. You'll have got really clear on some of the benefits for you and your business about becoming an author, and you'll be in a position to decide for yourself whether you're ready to take the next step. So if that sounds like a plan, just give a quick yes in the chat box, or if there's anything else that you would like to achieve from this webinar, then type that in as well. And I'll keep an eye on it as well as Nat is. If I don't get to the questions straight away, I can still see them anyway. And I'll aim to get through them by the end of this webinar. And we'll make sure that you've got everything that you need. Awesome. So on to this next slide. I always start off with some quotes because I'm a bit of a quote collector. It's a bit geeky, and I've got this Google Drive document I keep all my quotes in. But there's a lot of quotes, and I thought the one in the bottom right, I thought, okay, we're talking about being an author, so I'm going to put a very famous author in here, obviously from the Lord of the Rings. The quote there: "It's the job that never started that takes the longest to finish." Now, I'm sure that you have come across people who said, oh yeah, I'm writing a book. I hear about it all the time. I'm sure Natasha hears about it so much. That Natasha's written 5. She's working on her 6th one. I've pre-ordered a copy of it already. I love the title and where it's headed to. And there's so many people, oh yeah, I'm writing a book. But they never finish. They've been writing a book for years, and they're doing it whatever way they're doing it. They're just not getting anywhere. And then all the thing with the publishers as well. Okay, well, how do you find a publisher? The publishers don't really want your books anyway. They just want a J.K. Rowling or something like that, and they're going to make squillions of money from. But there's so many unknowns. You've got to actually get started, and the best way to get started is find an easy way and follow a system for people that have actually achieved the results. And as Natasha said, 100% results from this program, and 85 people have actually done it. So if they can do it, and I'll share a bit more about my story as well. If I can do it, you can do it too. The quote on the left: "You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great." Quote on the right: "If you don't invest in yourself, why would anybody else invest in you as well?" So obviously, if you're going to go into this program, or if you are going to choose any different way of getting your book written, it's going to take you to invest some time and money into it, isn't it? Any system you're going to do, there's no done for you solution that someone can plug a USB stick into your head and out pops a book. It's going to take some time and effort to put it in, and you can do it taking months and years, or you can do it a quicker, better, smarter way. But ultimately, it's about investing in yourself. And if you want to be able to grow your business, you've got to have that belief in yourself and get going and do it. A lot of people will say, oh, well, it's not time yet. And I'll share a bit about my story that hopefully you'll find of interest. So where it all started for me, as 4 funnels on this boat, this is the Titanic. This is the Titanic leaving Southampton, which is where I was born in England. And I migrated to Australia in 1979. My parents came over here. I was age 13. My parents had well, it turns out I knew they were in business, but it turns out they had like 4 or 5 businesses, and they were running those successfully in the UK. And then we had relatives over here. They migrated to Australia, and they ran another 2 businesses in Australia as well until they retired in their early 40s. So they actually did a lot of that, and I had a fair bit of visibility from a child's perspective of living in a business, living in an environment where businesses are run. And came to Australia, and I went into engineering. I did 20 years of project management, delivering projects, the scope of projects on time, on budget, and continuously developing and improving systems. I was almost awarded at one stage for being the most prolific contributor to system improvements, raising change alerts. So we can do this better, we can do this better, we can do this better. I live that way. I'm always on the lookout for what's the system and how can we make it better? How can we make it more efficient? I've been doing that for 20 years. And so about 2 years ago, I was still in the day job, but I was getting a bit bored with it and lacking the drive in there. I'm not sure whether some of you can relate to that. I'd started my own business as well in parallel, and I was sort of doing the business and the day job. And so I had my business open for over a year. I was really enthusiastic about sharing my wisdom and helping others with this stuff I know about productivity and about efficiency and all that sort of thing. But you can probably tell it in my voice. I'm really passionate about that. I know it can make a difference. It bothers me how people do things the slow, bad, the inefficient way. They're just doing it the old-fashioned way, and they're taking way too long, and they're getting drained doing stuff in a way that there is a better way. They just don't know it yet. So I wanted to share that. But my business had been going for over a year, and I wasn't gaining a lot of traction. I was the best kept secret. Hardly anybody knew about me and the value I could add for them, for their businesses and for their life as well. When you're more productive and you're getting better results in your business, that impacts your lifestyle as well. It means instead of working 60 or 70, 80 hours a week and missing out on your kids growing up, you actually get to spend more time with them, as Natasha's a classic example for. So I was definitely a best kept secret, and I know that time is valuable and not to be wasted, and we're not getting any younger. It was my birthday recently, and one of the things I remind myself of on my birthday is that my best years are ahead of me. Now, I'd much rather I might be deluding myself, I don't know, but I believe my best years are ahead of me, and I think that's a much better way than thinking that my best years are behind me, don't you? So I'm quite keen to find out, well, what is it that my future years are actually going to provide for me and my family and everything like that. So I had actually started to write my own book because I knew that, okay, well, there's all this stuff I want to share. I want to be recognized as an expert in my field and so on. I want to complete this book and be able to share it in a way that there's only so many people I can work with one-on-one. Or even there's only so many people I can teach in webinars like this, or in front of groups at universities or conferences or whatever. There's a whole heap of people out there all around the world that will never get to see me face to face, but they could read my book. So I had actually typed, but I'm a really good two-finger typist, but there's only so much you can do with two fingers. And I'd only really done about 2 pages of my book, and thinking, well, where do I start? How do I structure this? I've got so much to share. How am I going to do it in a way that is going to make sense for people? And I just hadn't made any progress on that. Obviously, my future was in the hands of others. I was in a job. I was the best kept secret. And also, family is very important to me as well. So my kids are in primary school, and I wanted to share their growing up and not sort of outsource or miss it. So ultimately, I was a bit bored and uninspired, but I knew I could do more. And then I came across this. I'd known Natasha for a little bit, and whatever, I can't remember the details, but Natasha ran this webinar where she shared Justin's story. This is Justin's book, and I love it, actually. It's a great book. But the webinar I was on was at the launch of Natasha's program, The Ultimate 48-Hour Author, and it changed everything for me. It was really like this. If you've ever seen this, posted on Facebook, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. It was that light bulb moment for me. Instead of, okay, do it all the old-fashioned way and type away, write a book, and then, okay, try and find a publisher, all of that sort of stuff. It's like, no, there's got to be an easier way. Write it in a weekend. That sounds fantastic. I'm in. So it was a no-brainer for me. Now, where things have moved is I've actually got my book. I completed my book in the weekends, and so in less than 48 hours, really. And it was a great fun weekend. I've got my brand there, and my brand has become more visible. And I've been involved in a bunch of different things. GQ Magazine, I had a thing in GQ Magazine earlier this year, which specifically was because people heard about me, heard about what I'm doing and my brand, and asked me, oh, well, could I contribute for a thing that they were putting together? And my business is continually growing. And I'm involved in Ultimate 48-Hour Author because I'm not sure whether some of you may or may not remember, there used to be an ad on the TV from Remington Razors, and the guy sort of says, I liked it so much I bought the company. Now, I haven't bought Ultimate 48 Hour Author because Natasha's not selling it, but I liked it so much I wanted to get involved and help others. And I've been on 3 of the retreats and helped more than 15 people write their books, including one person I took through the whole program. Myself, and her book, her launch was a month or 2 ago. So jumping now to Natasha, she's been doing this a bit longer than me and going through all of these different brands that she's put together, systemized the 5 books that she's got there, the family of 5 now with the new edition not that long ago, award-winning and so on. So this is a program, Natasha's developed and built this program and used it to hugely grow her business and help another 85 or more people, even just the authors, but there's way more people than that who've actually been getting involved in this program and learning a lot more, growing their businesses with it. Leverage of products and so on is a huge thing as well. If you get involved in this program, it's about much more than a book and much more than selling a $30 book. So recognize that. The systems that are in the Natasha's program, I use them for my webinars, I use them for my face-to-face events. In terms of leveraging, I got 12 chapters in my book. I run a monthly, for each of those chapters, I run a webinar on one of those chapters and share even more details than I got in the book in that webinar. Spinning it off into products and manuals and all of these sorts of things that Natasha has done with hers. It's a great model and I'm replicating it as well. So it's much more than just selling the book. The book is the business card on steroids, or it's the ticket in the door. That the minute someone finds out that you're actually a published author, they pay more attention to what you're doing. It helps you stand out from the crowd, from all the other people that might be operating in your space. So why would you become an author? Gaining credibility is a key thing. If you're good at what you do and nobody knows about it, you're just in the masses like everybody else. Maybe that's where you are now. But gaining credibility, the fact that you know enough about it to have actually put it all down in a book and published it, and they can buy that. They read your book and they say, oh, this person really knows this stuff. I'm going to find out more about what this person can do and how this person can help me in essentially in higher priced packages and services that you can provide. That helps you stand out and get the credibility ahead of others. You'd be seen as the expert. Obviously, growing your business, having a book out there isn't going to shrink your business, is it? It's going to grow it. It's a fast track to success as well. It's a much better way for you to accelerate your progress. You can do it the traditional way. You can do it the sort of the hard slog, or you can fast track. You get to choose which way you're going to do. You do get a lot more opportunities. You can get approached for speaking opportunities, for publicity. Networking events, even that I go to, and I've only finished 1 book so far. Natasha's done 5. Even networking events that I go to, I've had people say, "Oh, well, you've got a book. Can you bring a bunch of them along? We're really interested next time you come." So you do get more opportunities. The fact that people know you've actually written your own book. Confidence is huge. The fact that it's so special to actually hold your own book in your hands, and when you get to have that stack of books, you're putting them in the envelopes and posting them off to the people that pre-ordered. It's such an amazing feeling to actually do that. So I definitely recommend it. If you think you've got it in you, you've got to have a go with this program. I am an enthusiast of it. You can tell that from my voice. It's also a tangible product. If you're selling a service, in a lot of ways, if you're in coaching or in marketing or a lot of these other sort of spaces where you're selling a service, this gives you a tangible product that you can give people, much more value for them and for you than just giving them a business card or whatever else you're doing, a flyer. Okay, here's a bit about me. You give them a product, you give them a book like this or an ebook version, which you can get as well. And it's something tangible, which really is very, very important. So I'm going to talk a little bit about busting some 5 myths around authoring. talk a bit about some of the keys to leveraging your business via your book. How to write a book in 48 hours. That's one of the key questions you guys are interested in. So busting I don't have a book in me. We've all got a book in me. There's lots of comments about that. And some people, it might be a fiction book, it might be a personal development, business development, whatever it is you think your story is. If you think there's people out there that would be interested in what it is that you know, you do have a book in you and you can actually get that done. You do know your stuff, however old you are. I turned 49 recently. I've got 49 years of life experience. Nobody else has that experience. I'm unique in that way. You're unique in your way, however old you are. And it's so easy for people to overlook the things that they're already good at. And what the thing I remind people about with that is, if you asked your closest friends, your family, your business colleagues, what it is that you're good at, what would they answer? Because chances are they'd actually say, oh yeah, they're really good at this, really good at that. Like for me, they're really good at time management, really good at systems, really good at spotting ways to improve things. When you ask yourself that question, what would they say you're really good at? That's the areas that it's unique to you. It's your unique take on it, and nobody else could write a book anything like you. The second myth, it takes ages to write a book, months, years to be published. If you go through a publisher, even if you had your book right now today finished in the manuscript in Microsoft Word, send it to a publisher, it wouldn't be in the bookshops for a year or two at least, because the publishers are so slow in the way that they do things. And they've got literally thousands of people asking them to say, buy my book, publish my book, publish my book. They're swamped by too much of that sort of stuff. So it doesn't take years to write your book. Natasha's written 5 books in less than 5 years. I wrote mine in a weekend. There's lots of people out there writing books in weekends. So you can actually do it. It doesn't have to take ages. Myth number 3, I'm not the expert. You are the expert in your life. You are the expert in the way you approach your business. There's a lot that you do know that when you focus in on it, nobody else knows what you know. Nobody else can apply things and do things the way that you can. And you probably would be surprised the minute you've got a book out there, and by going through the process of writing the book as well, it reminds you of all of the stuff that really is special and unique and very valuable that you do know, instead of the stuff that you take it for granted because you do it all the time. So for example, a bookkeeper does bookkeeping day in, day out. To some people, how on earth can you understand all of the rules and regulations and know what to do and what not to do, and what categories to put these costs into so that it makes the business run really well, so I know what's happening with the business at any point in time and I pay the minimum amount of tax and so on. The accountant's happy because all the books are tidy, instead of the old shoebox full of receipts and not having a clue what's going on. Bookkeepers solve hugely great, valuable problems for people. Assuming that you're not a bookkeeper, your bookkeeper probably does some great stuff. But to the bookkeeper, they probably think, oh yeah, it's everyday stuff. So remember, the stuff that you're really good at is the stuff that you're probably taking for granted. And by shining the light on that and thinking, okay, well, you are actually the expert in that field, it really is very valuable. It identifies the value that you bring to the table. Myth number 4, I have to be alone to get it done. No, you're not. When you're in business, nothing you're doing is on your own. You've always got a team of people around you. You may have a small team, you may have a larger team, you may have staff. Even if you're a solopreneur, you're probably going to have a legal person, an accountant, a bookkeeper, maybe a web person. That you're not doing this stuff on your own, and you don't have to do it on your own. Doing it yourself doesn't mean doing it by yourself. Now, myth number 5, I'm not good at English. We've had people through the program that are from non-English speaking backgrounds. I said I was born in the UK, but literally I finished year 12 and I got a D in English. And once I'd published my book, I got back in touch with my high school English teacher and let her know. And it's like, I was so proud of the fact that a D student in English, I barely scraped through high school with English. But I've written a book, and it's like, oh, okay, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So the key is really leveraging, and this is, you may or may not be able to see this on the slide, and this is what we go through in a bit more detail in the half-day event and in the retreat itself. But the key is about leveraging your book, using your book as a key in the door, using your book in your marketing, in your networking, in all of the other things that you're doing to enable you to upsell to higher value products. And if you're in the situation now where whatever it is that you're selling, you want to sell cheaper stuff in the future, okay, fine. But if you'd like to be able to sell stuff that you've got at if you'd like to be able to sell stuff for double the price you're selling at the moment, 5 times, 10 times the price, then it's about leveraging things up. And the structure that you get through the book program really helps and enables you to do a lot of that. So it is really easy. It can be really easy. There are easier ways. You can be like the traditional person with the yoke over their shoulders, carrying 2 buckets of water up from the river into the house each day, backwards and forwards, and doing it the hard way. Or you can be like the guy next door that's got the water pump and pumps it up and doesn't have to carry anything. There are easier ways for these things, and when you follow the blueprint in the system, it can get done really, really quickly and easily. So why the weekend? Why the retreat? Number one, it's a get your focus away from the distractions of the everyday world, the phones, the emails, your office, and so on. So it's really important to be able to have a separate location to go to. And we do it at great locations as well. There's quite a few places we've been to that are fantastic environments for getting really, really creative in beautiful surroundings. Number 3, you get taken care of. It's a full package start to finish. All the food's included. You've got all the support around, answers your questions before, during, and after. It's to some extent it's a done for you solution. The content is all yours, and you take responsibility for doing the actions, but you've got all the support that you need around you. Right the way through to the program is okay from the beginning until you actually get the box of books delivered to your office or your home. Everything's included that you're going to need. The point 4 there is you learn a lot about leveraging your business. This is much more than just writing a book, because you write the book, then how do I do a launch? How do I do the marketing? How do I do the publicity? How do I do these other things? These questions are all answered as a part of it. And there's a lot of accountability as well in there. There's dates that you're going to hold yourself to and commit to completion. The power of mastermind is also really useful. You get 10 or 15 people in the room tossing ideas around. Some may or may not be your target market as well. And you get a great opportunity to mastermind with these people about the ideas that you've got to further improve what you're putting into your book. And mentoring on the go when you get stuck, because at some point in time through this process, you're going to get a bit stuck. You go, oh, well, I'm not quite sure what to do here or whatever. You've got a mentor to be able to answer the questions. And I saw this billboard in, it's for advertising for one of the banks, but that's completely irrelevant really. But even Jamie Oliver has a mentor. Everybody needs to have a mentor of some sort, somebody who's already done what you've done, yeah? So there's 7 educational segments that are taken care of in the session. So on the weekend, on the retreat, you do more than just write your book. You're also educated on speaking, the power of social media, connecting with people through video, free publicity generation. You're going to pay publicity as well, but free publicity generation is even better. The publicity follow-up system, a pre-launch campaign, and mindset success, because there's elements of mindset that hold people back. I'm sure you come across that sometimes as well. So in addition to getting a book done, you get taught and educated about these 7 areas as well. And it's a bit of fun as well. We usually get to hang out in the pool or the spa, have great meals, some social time as well to chat with people about what's going on and connect with them a little bit as well as we go through the process. There's also photos. You want to have a photo on the cover of the book, on the front cover, back cover, photos for your publicity and so on. So that's also taken care of within the package. Here's the photos from all the retreats. If you look in the top row, that was the very first one, I think. Yeah, I think that was the very first one. I'm over here, and then the ones down below are the ones that I wasn't able to make.
No,
And here's the dates as well for, I'll just do that. Here's the dates as well for the upcoming ones. Feel free to pencil those into your calendar. And we've got dates for into 2016 as well. Here's a bunch of the books that people have published. So as you can see from here, such a wide range of different topics. And I wonder what would your book be? There's 85 authors who've successfully published within the last 24 months and 100% success from all of the attendees. There may be other programs. There are other programs out there that promise to help you write your book, and they'll do stuff for you. And there's pros and cons, which you go a little bit more into in the half-day event. But this is the only one that I'm aware of that has 100% success from all of the attendees. There's a bunch of publicity that comes from this as well, whether it's radio, TV, whatever it is. Publicity is great for developing your business. Here's some other examples. The GQ magazine was one of my ones. A lot of other people have been on radio, TV, in the newspapers, print media, and so on. We quite often have a group book launch as well, where a bunch of people can get together and really celebrate the achievement. That's fantastic. And there's nothing like the feeling when you've got your book in your hand and you're figuring out, well, what am I going to write in this thing on that page when the person says, could you sign it for me? That is so special to actually do that. So 2 years on for me, I've fired the day job. I've got much more flexible hours now, and I've got a geographically independent business. My earning potential isn't limited to just selling my time for money anymore. I'm enjoying many more daylight hours in great environments, down the beach, in my home office, in cooperative working environments and things, instead of it stuck in a CBD office, which was getting me down, really. I've got more time with the kids. I'm more inspired. I'm in control and helping to change more people's lives. 5 years on for Natasha, she's got some similar things. She's been able to produce a 7-figure income from this. She's grown her family unlimited in earnings potential and never having to work another day in your life, really inspired and motivated. And the question really is, well, where will you be in 5 years' time in your business? What could writing a book possibly do for your business? Where could it take you? What doors could it open up for you? It's only limited by your imagination, really. So if this, I trust that this has answered some of the questions for you. And if you do want to find out more, if you're curious to find out more about how this process could possibly work for you, there's a half-day workshop that I'm going to be running in Melbourne on the 16th, next Friday, and another one in Sydney on the 20th of November. The link is here, and if you're interested in getting along to that, if you're curious about how you can use see the blueprint that's generated over $500,000 in 2014, if you're curious about how you can actually do that to get your book written and really leverage your business and magnify your the recognition of your skills and position yourself as an expert in your field, you can come along to this, and you'll get a free copy of my book as well, so that you too can have more free time. So the total value for this, for the half-day event, is $349, and if your investment for it today, you go to this link, is just $49. So with that, I've got I've gone 3 minutes over, but happy to take any questions from you guys. What's come up for you? I'll just have a quick drink of water.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Natasha. Thank you.
Awesome. I've tried to post the link in the chat box, but I'm not sure if it's working because I tried to click onto it. Do you have it somewhere that you can put it in the chat box so that you can easily click onto it?
Yeah. All right. I shall. Okay.
Post it in there.
Yeah, I shall do that.
Cool. That was really excellent. I really love how you put your own perspective on what the program has done for you.
Yep.
And the benefits you see from it, because it's one thing when I explain, what it can do and where it can take you versus someone who's been through it, and obviously a totally different person with a different personality and standpoint. But ultimately, I think that the bottom line is we all want to create that lifestyle and life where we can choose what we do, who we do it with, and when we do it. More importantly,
absolutely.
Especially, me, you're a dad of 3 as well. Me being a mum of really little 3 children, it's been wonderful to be able to run my business whenever I want, really, and when the kids are sleeping and all that sort of stuff. So perfect. So guys, do post some questions up. We're going to stick around for another 10 minutes to make sure that everything has been answered. And I can't see the questions from my end, so maybe you can see that. Oh, okay, that's what it looks like. Oh, perfect.
That's what it comes up. Yep. And it's got the 2 dates on there as well.
Oh, yep, the Melbourne and Sydney events. Yeah, let me just test it at mine. Yep, it's working at my end now.
Oh, excellent. Great.
Perfect. Yeah, cool. Good. Excellent. Have you got anything at your end?
Yeah, I've got a question from Brad about the price for the full weekend program. Thanks for the question, Brad. A lot of people ask that, and when it really comes down to it, it's not so much about the price; it's about the return on investment, and it's much more than just getting your books sold out there. So there's actually a special on at the moment that with the full retreat, instead of the usual 100 books, you're actually getting the 500 books. So by selling those 500 books, you'll get the return on investment straight away. But it's much more than that as well, because it's about getting those keys to the door, getting the invitations to speaking gigs, publicity, and being able to leverage your business into higher priced, higher value packages as well. And there's no real limit. I mean, last year, Natasha turned it into $500,000. You can do the same in your space and much more than that. There's not really any limit to what you can do. So rather than looking just at a price, because the price is irrelevant, really, it's all about the return you can get on the investment. And we do go into, there's a few different options as well, which we go into in the half-day event about the different price points that people can get into the program in. Natasha, do you want to add anything else?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, because we do 3 different levels, Brad, into the program. So, it can be as cheap as $7,000, as expensive as $25,000. So just to give you a ballpark, if you like. But I believe it's about actually going to the half day. The half day really is a prerequisite for you to qualify for a retreat, because we don't let everyone come into our retreats. Because obviously, to achieve 100% success rate, you can't just take any person who's willing to pay the investment. You want to make sure, number one, the niche can be monetized and it can be leveraged. So I want to see a 7-figure business, even if the person who's writing the book cannot see it. So I want to formulate that in my mind, and Russell, myself, and my husband do qualify people into the retreats for a 20-minute conversation where we explore what you want to do, see what it is, and then you get taken through a table that's 40 lines long that shows you all the inclusions, because the inclusions are very extensive. So just working out a price doesn't mean anything until you actually have a proper, you understand the value behind it. So yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Natasha. The other thing it raises for me as well, I remember you mentioned, I think it was for somebody who went along to the August retreat, that they heard about the program, or they may even heard about the program from somebody else, and they didn't even go to the half-day thing. They jumped straight into the full package because they knew how much value it would be for their business, didn't they?
Well, this was really funny. I mean, this was just unheard of. I think this one doesn't come around that often, because this guy never even asked me the price when we were having a conversation. He said, I have to come. It was 20 hours before our August retreat.
Yeah.
And I said, hang on a second. I've got to spend 2 hours prepping you. You got to spend 10 hours of doing some bit of pre-work, unpacking your chapters. I said, there's only 20 hours till retreat. No, he said, I'm booking my flights. He was up in Brisbane. You're going to prep me while I wait in the lounge room, in the waiting area, and I'm going to see you at the venue tomorrow in Warn Ponds in just past Geelong, which is where we host them now regularly, because that's been we've tried many different venues and finally found the one that's the most suitable and the best service and the best food and the best drinks and everything like that. And he turned up, and he smashed it out of the water, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm never going to assume anything. And basically, he never asked me once about the investment. He just completed his paperwork by sending him an email. We talked about his project, of course, before I would qualify him, and I actually strongly encouraged him to come to our November retreat because it was way too soon, but he just wouldn't take a no for an answer, and he's on the way to being published, and one of the most successful and quick decisions. But yeah, that one really surprised me.
Yeah, that's excellent as well. And that touches on another question that people often ask is, when you still got a bit of that mindset of it must take ages, how much time does it really take? And you touched on it there. It's really only about, there's the 2-hour unpack, which really gets a lot of headway, not just on the topic and the title of the book, but the content. What are you going to cover in the chapters? Which that was the key thing. I had no idea where to start. I was like, I've got years worth of experience. How do I figure out how to structure it? So the unpack is really, really valuable for that. And then it is pretty much only about 10 hours preparation to go through the rest. It's not months and weeks worth of work before, during, and after. And there's no typing involved really, unless you prefer to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another point I guess we should make clear with the guys, is that there's 70% of our people will follow the system as is, with the speaking out of the content, which is obviously how we do it to get it done so quickly. There's 7 speaking hours at retreat. In those 7 hours is when you will complete a 45,000 word book. And then there's about 20% of people who come to us who want to type, which is fine. Obviously, that will take them a bit longer and beyond the retreat, but they still love the package, so therefore they come along because everything is taken care of. Publishing, editing, all, your books, your ebook, all of that sort of stuff. And then about 5 to 10% of people have already got a manuscript, because obviously, like you said, Russ, some have been writing for years and actually have a lot of their content ready, but just have not backed themselves in publishing it, and they then go, okay, well, I need to do it. So, you guys have the system, you've got the contacts, which we obviously get bulk publishing discounts around what we do from the people that we use, and they're real life people you meet at retreat. They arrive on the Sunday. They're called Busy Bird Publishing. They're here in Melbourne in Montmorency, and they talk to our authors. So at retreat, and the wife is the head of the publishing house, and then the husband is the professional photographer who does those photos at the weekend. So yeah, lots of things taken care of.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Natasha. So are there any other questions? I know we've talked a little bit about the return on investment. We've talked about how much time and effort is involved. We've shared a little bit about the whole experience. Pretty much everything is included that you're going to need, plus a bunch of education of how you can leverage up from there. Is there any other questions we haven't covered off on, or are you curious to come along to the half day and find out whether it is actually for you?
Yeah, what I find very powerful, what we do in the half day, which is what you will be doing as well, Russ, is the book unpack. We unpack a book right then and there, and the person gets to take that home and really, if they want to follow the system, off they go. Follow the system.
Exactly.
In my book, Ultimate 48-Hour Author, it is there. It's got the steps. We know that not a lot of people follow through by just reading a book. I think something's just popped up. Is there ongoing mentoring and coaching? Do you want to take that one, Russ?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, we've got the system in place. We've got the support right the way through to when you actually get your books back from the printer. So any questions that you've got, and we've done this enough times as well with over 85 people going through the process, that the questions you come up with, other people have probably also come up with them as well. So there's so many resources in the program that answer that for you already. And then if you do come across questions or challenges, or you get a little bit stuck, or whatever the challenge is that you come across, you've got the support through the whole program.
Yeah, Katerina, just pick up the phone and ring any of the three of us, Russell, myself, or Stuart. There's no set hourly, say, mentoring calls or things like that. There's education, I like to call it the Business Academy area, which has got over 80 hours of marketing information on how you can leverage your book. But also there is a monthly inner circle call that you become a lifetime member of, and Russell has presented on that as well. We bring in different experts, and I come on and present different topics, because as we grow and refine and discover new marketing strategies that really work, we deliver that in that monthly call, as well as have open Q&A where, you know, if there's not a lot of people in the call, sometimes people get really personalized attention. So all of our authors become lifetime members of our community, of our inner circle, and they can pick up the phone. We actually love the ones that pick up the phone and ring us and ask us questions. We keep touching base and keep people on their toes, because some people do it a lot faster and some people are a little bit slower, which is normal, because everyone works at a different rate. But the most important thing, the key thing in everything that we do, is that everyone gets through the finish line. Whether it's 2 or 3 months after retreat, or as long as 7 or 8, we want them over that finish line. You're welcome.
Great. Thanks, Katerina. Good question. Thanks, Natasha. Any other questions, guys? I know some people have headed off already. They got all their questions answered. They know they're off to work, or whatever the day holds for those guys.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, I think that was the last comment. You know, please email Russell. There's his email down there, russ@businesstimelord.com.au. If the dates that don't suit you to come along to the half day, because I think you really get immersed into the system a lot more when you go to the half day and learn a little bit about publishing smarts as well. Do talk to him, because he'll always give you, 20 to 30 minutes to discuss your idea and to see if it's got, it's got the possibility to be monetized and leveraged. So
yeah, absolutely.
I did an online call the other day, and people were all in rural areas, and I had a conversation with someone yesterday who's now joining us at the November retreat.
Awesome. Thanks, Natasha. Okay, guys. That looks like it's covered all the questions. So if there's nothing further, then we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for being on the call, and for those of you listening to the recording, thanks for taking the time to do that as well. And it'll be great to see you guys in the room in the near future. Thanks, Natasha.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.